Hello, and welcome to another episode of R.E.A.D.Y. This is the time of the year, believe it or not, it's creeping up on us quickly, but this is the time of the year when people start thinking about holiday parties. People are planning holiday parties, are starting to get maybe invitations to holiday parties, and especially with, not too many companies or people had large holiday parties last year, still coming out of COVID, people were a little nervous. Now it seems like people are back to partying big, having big parties
Oh, I
again.
can't wait. I'm already planning the parties because the last 2 years, it's been blah.
Right.
I already know the jewelry I want to wear, but not the outfit. Swear. I started with the jewelry first.
The bling's important.
It is. It's like crystals. I don't know where I'm going, but that's to your point, is that I want something nice. I want to go out. I want to have a nice dinner. I want to see friends. I want to dance.
Everybody's excited about
too.
that.
Yeah.
The important thing is that everybody needs to be careful with is that I have a feeling that police and patrol are going to be out there stronger than ever now. And people need to make sure not to drink and drive and to use a designated driver, some sort of ride-share service, an Uber, a Lyft, hire a driver, carpool with somebody that's going to be a sober driver, what they call it, DD, designated driver. Because that's really important for many reasons. I mean, anybody, if you get charged with an OWI, which is a drunk driving in Michigan, there's strict and severe penalties for that, potential jail time, and it could affect your employment, could affect your license. But also, regarding the topics that we cover with divorce, it's a really big deal, especially if you have kids. And especially if your license gets suspended for a period of time and you can't do that parenting time. I hate to be the downer on this happy topic, but this is something serious people need to think about.
It's so interesting. I have friends who are sheriffs and in the police department, and I do know that there is a thing that they actually secretly like to catch you within a mile of your home, thinking you made it home, and they're like, who can we get the closest to their home? That's what they were discussing. A couple times, one's like, yeah, I got them 1 block from their house.
It just doesn't make sense to risk it at all. No matter how close, no matter how far, no matter how much or how little alcohol you consumed, it just doesn't make sense at all. And especially if your kids are with you, then CPS, Child Protective Services, could get involved. That could greatly affect your child custody and divorce case or divorce case in a negative way. So that's something important. First and foremost, anytime I hear a party and no alcohol is going to be involved, I know I might be a downer on this, but this is the most important thing is we need to remind everybody not to drink and drive. And that's the important thing. Right. And there's many positives about a holiday party, and especially work holiday parties are fun. Everybody, a lot of people that you work with, you might not have seen each other much at all in the last 2.5 years. And this is a time when everybody sees each other. And you're ready to celebrate, whether it's you celebrating because you haven't been out in a long time, or you celebrating because maybe you're going through a divorce right now or recently divorced.
And you need to dance it off.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. When you've got someone who's going through it's the perfect storm, going through a divorce, and they've been pent up with COVID, I feel like you almost need, right? Exactly. This is like, this is
let
something
me loose.
You need somebody to maybe be your wingman, be like, just let's, don't spend too much time in the coat room.
So the angel on your shoulder,
good.
You need
be
to bring
careful.
an angel.
You're going through a divorce. You don't want to look
you need
bad.
to remember with a work party, as these are people you're probably going to see again, and probably so. It's also important not to act foolish or do anything that you might wake up and regret the next morning.
Or talk about personal things when it can spread through the office.
Absolutely.
Everything's on social media, so you're not getting away with anything. True. So it's really and truly. And Jeff, that's a question. So social media, let's say someone caught someone on social media, they have proof. I mean, how is this something that could truly hurt you?
It could.
Due to your behavior, like let's say you're maybe not close to dancing on tables, but maybe you're acting a little bit
reckless,
a little bit excessive. What is that?
I mean, it depends. It depends on, had you been in trouble for something like that before? Are there allegations that you are consuming illegal substances or even alcohol? Are there allegations that you're drinking and driving? Are there allegations that you are, drinking alcohol when it's your parenting time? Are there allegations that you're not home during your parenting time. So a lot of that could affect certain things. And then, if you end up, having some indiscretions at that party that can end up in either criminal trouble or potentially something that's going to affect a relationship. Those are all things to think about. And maybe something that happens at that holiday party leads to a divorce. So while I know everybody's excited, we're all excited about holiday parties, and the work holiday parties are usually a ton of fun. But also keep in mind these certain things. It's okay to go and have a good time, but be smart about it. And that's something that we try to remind everybody of all the time, because I can't tell you how many calls we get the morning after a holiday party where people are needing our legal services.
I'm going to raise my hand.
Okay.
I'm raising my hand.
I'm calling on you.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Cece here. So I was at a holiday party in my 20s, and the cliche copier, there was pictures left in the copy machine at the holiday party. It's so cliche.
Why
I thought
do
that was
people do that?
No, I really thought
I
it
don't
was a
even
movie
understand
thing.
that.
I
It's
thought
silly.
it was movies, like you put your hand there, maybe you like like on
just
there. But
so juvenile though. It's so funny. Like that people still do
I
that.
attended one, and the paper that was right in the chute, and that
That's
was
what Johnny and Jack and Jose
my
Cuervo
goodness.
speaking to your ear.
they brought all their boyfriends,
They tempt
Jack,
you.
Jimmy, But it honestly, I just remember sitting there, coming back after New Year's, because we worked in the automotive industry at the time, and so we had that time off. And when we came back from New Year's, it was a thing. Finding evidence of a cliche of a copier.
Oh my god.
But yeah, and it was impressive.
Were they in color, or was it black and white?
Black and white. It was a cheap company. Let me tell you, there was nothing. It was grainy, but it really brings to light that yes, you can have fun. Yes, do this. Just be super careful. Don't be as risky, and
Maybe
tame it
bring a
down.
friend as your +1 just to keep you in
A
line.
wholesome friend.
Definitely, so they can pull you off the tables and out of the coat rooms and
None of my
pull the
friends I would
bottle
invite
away
to be
from
that
you
person.
so that you don't get yourself in trouble.
Have any of you been
You
to
gotta
a
have
holiday party
have a
that's
sister's
gone
back.
crazy?
Who hasn't?
Why are you looking at me?
I'm
a
waiting for a
good little
story.
sweet
Let's get a
angel over
little
here. I don't know what
Nobody
you're
wants
talking
to
about.
admit it. I think we all have been. So, and all did something that we regret, and got on the road when we probably should have had better discretion. So, but it's definitely something that it's worth thinking about, because you have a lot of friends that had one or two, or had their life ruined. So not to mention outside of divorce, but within a divorce situation.
And don't forget, as we've talked about in the past, sometimes when people are going through a divorce, you should be on your best behavior. There could be a private investigator that's hired to follow you. There could be a license.
Oh my goodness, I didn't think about that.
And so these are things that are very important. Somebody could be at that party watching you and reporting back that you don't even know about or are aware of. And some of your indiscretions could end up being a nightmare in your divorce case or your custody case.
Yeah, because you've got a third party that can prove it. If Dave was here, I bet he's even been involved in that. If we asked him, he probably would say. That's a good point.
Listen, that being said, there's also a lot of positives about a holiday party. A lot of great
talk about
networking, a lot of fun things to look forward to. Even Holly, I think I mentioned to you before the show, I think I've bought and sold properties at holiday parties before, just from people that I've met and talked to. And I'm sure it's great networking in your line of business, being a realtor and talking to people. There could be people that, whether it's a divorce situation or not, or something that they want as a resolution for the new year to get a new property. And typically, and again, I know we've talked about how COVID has messed up seasons for everything, but typically I feel like that's the time of year where people feel like they can get a good deal, is in the wintertime.
Exactly.
And so, that's a positive there, is the networking from these parties is incredible. And yeah, you work with those people, but sometimes you don't talk about the other personal issues, or you might not talk about, the positive or the fun things going on in somebody's life, or the purchases they're getting ready to make, or the sale they're getting ready to make, or they might have somebody that they've invited as their +1 or their guest, or there might be one of the company's clients or guests or something that comes there that turns into a business relationship also.
That's the best, I think, for me and you guys. I think I know you guys well enough. You would agree. The best relationships you make are face to face, when you're not actually going after business, when you're just meeting people, they can see who you are, you have great conversations, and you just get into, well, what do you do? And you talk about it. They, of course, always will say, tell me about the market every time, and we'll talk about that and get into like, hey, I'm also licensed in Florida. Oh, I want a property. Almost everybody will say, I want a property in Florida someday.
Well, maybe, yeah.
You know,
maybe
and I'm like,
about
we
right?
all do, right? So it's just a way to really get to know people without that burden of, oh gosh, they're going to talk to me about selling a house. It's just, you know, again, you're having a drink, everyone's in a great mood, and then they remember you. You know, your brain tends to remember things in a certain way. So if you're having a great time and you meet me, you're going to remember me as being just so lovely and insightful and wonderful, right? No matter what. So yeah, it's a great opportunity. I'm going to go to everybody's parties. Just invite me to all of them.
Okay, perfect. Or we
I'll
can
be the
just
plus
start our
one for
own-
everybody.
Oh, wait. Can we start our own party and go to Tessabara in the naughty corner? Can we just have a Christmas party there?
Let's do it.
Yes.
The naughty
Cece and I
corner.
are
What is
always
the
in
naughty
it.
corner?
The
Literally,
naughty
it says naughty
corner.
corner, and they always stick us in it.
Okay.
They always seat us there. We don't even ask for it. They just put
I
us
don't even
there.
know what that is.
It literally
What's
says
that?
naughty corner, and you sit in that
In
booth,
bright.
and everyone can see that you're in the naughty corner. Cece and I ended up there many times.
That seems appropriate.
I don't. I
You guys seem like
Yes, we are not
I
paid
would
to
put
talk
you in the
about
naughty corner.
Tessabara, but it is a good restaurant.
Yeah,
We
they should.
like-
Maybe they'll give us a kickback.
I've never been there.
Maybe
sounds
they'll
like a
host
great
our
place
party
that
for
people
us.
watch too in the naughty corner. So.
Yeah. And it's up higher too, so you
It
can't
is
hide.
kind of like visual.
Can't hide.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I mean, can't hide in a Christmas party either, or holiday party, or Thanksgiving or New Year's. What we're discussing, just making sure everybody has fun, safe, and just keep aware of your surroundings
100%.
and keep yourself collected. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure that you have that sense of logic
Yeah.
and not the explosion, because I can see I've had a lot of friends be able to have like divorce parties after or during, so gotta be
Yeah.
super careful.
And you know, it is also, we talked about the things that you have to be careful of. We talked about that it could lead to business connections and real estate deals and different things like that. But you could also meet your future significant other. That's the time of year around the holidays, especially people that are single or recently divorced, are kind of wishing that they had somebody to share the holidays with, somebody to gift and maybe
Connect.
receive gifts with and connect with, and be able to go to those parties together with, or to be able to have the holiday dinners together with and bring families together. And that could be a good time to meet people, because I feel like around the holidays is one of the times. I know we talked about back to school being a time when parents can get out again. Springtime, people are excited after being cooped up in the winter, but holidays are also a great time to meet people, because people want to connect with each other and want to meet each other. And so as long as you're smart about it, that could be the positive.
That's
I
the
blame
key.
the Hallmark Channel for that, because they're constantly playing all those cheesy, girl meets guy, Prince Charming, and you sit there and watch that, and you're like, okay, this is so unreal.
He's a
But
rich
it's still playing in your
ranch
head.
handler covered in mud
Like,
that you
if
wouldn't
I walk
think.
out in the snow and it's just barely falling on me, will he ride by in a sleigh and say hi? No.
You never know. You never know. You don't have to be so pessimistic about it.
No, I'm totally not pessimistic, but I'm just saying the Hallmark Channel sets you up, to think like, oh, this is just going to be so easy. But yeah, no, I'm not pessimistic at all. In fact, I'm feeling really good about it.
Okay, that's good.
Good. You did bring something up, and I would really like to talk about it, not during this podcast, but maybe a future podcast or in the next podcast. You briefly said something about holiday and parenting time. When we're talking, you mentioned it briefly. We should talk about that. Let's table that and talk about that for our next podcast. I think that's a great one, Jeff.
Yeah, we will. There's several issues that revolve around that, and things to look out for, and different things. And especially as, we're talking about different parties today and different things like that. And obviously when you're divorced or separated from the other parent, you've got to figure out, your schedule and whether or not it makes sense. And sometimes you are going to have to sacrifice certain parties for the sake of having to be with your kids. Or wanting to be with your kids instead.
And it
And it's
sounds like
okay
it
to turn some of
intermingles.
those down. Yeah, they do.
These
Absolutely.
two subjects. So, but let's stick with the parties because it's a fun part, and then we'll talk about that maybe the next podcast.
No, it's all fun. And with, and there's different types of parties, and it seems like more common, at least the recent few years leading up to COVID, when parties were really prevalent. It seems like it's become kind of a tradition or kind of a thing to where rather than bringing a gift to whoever's hosting the party or a bottle of wine or a vase or whatever it might be that you would have brought typically, now a lot of these parties, especially work-related parties, have some sort of charity that they support, and you're required either to bring a toy or a food item or something like that. And I think that's really a good concept and good idea that I see more people starting to put into place.
That's a great idea. I just thought of something too. There's probably people who might be listening or going through a divorce, and maybe they're just feeling down. Maybe they're feeling like, I don't want to go to a party, or I can't go to the party because I don't want to answer the questions, what's going on.
The stigma.
Right. So, hopefully they can really consider just stepping out a little bit and, again, take a friend.
You know
get out
what?
a little
Most
bit.
of the time, but I mean,
thinking
listen, some
everyone's
people
gonna
probably
throw
need a friend to
party.
push them, but even if you go by yourself, well, it depends on your personality. But a lot of times after you're actually out, you'll be really happy you went.
Exactly.
And that happens all the time. It happens, listen, even when I dread taking a vacation and leaving work for that, even though I'm still working while I'm on vacation. But once I get there, I'm like, man, I'm so happy I did this. It's like my son, soccer practice. Every Saturday is a struggle. He doesn't want to go, causes a fuss. By the time when we get there, he has a blast. When we leave, he can't wait till soccer next week. And then he seems to forget the next Saturday morning.
Exactly.
But that's the same way with somebody that might be feeling down or I mean, listen, go get a new outfit that's going to help you feel confident, or borrow one, or figure something out if you have something in your closet. Get a spray tan or whatever maybe that's going to boost your confidence, or a manicure, or your hair done, and or whatever it may be that's going to make you feel confident, because I understand that you have to be in that mindset to feel confident to be able to go out and shine. Otherwise, you're going to go out and be in a corner by yourself, potentially.
It's so true. I went out Saturday, and let me just share this really quick because it means so much to me. I went out Saturday, and in the beginning of the day, it was homecoming. We had pictures. I had to drive everywhere. We had 2 girls getting ready for homecoming. My other had to go to her best friend's party, so she's freaking out about her hair because they're going to take selfies and TikToks and yada, yada, yada. Now I'm dealing with teenagers. So I'm sitting there and finally done. I'm like, okay, how am I going to focus on myself? And I honestly almost bailed out. It was a $160 ticket to this masquerade gala, and to support the Butterfly Collective, which supports domestic violence. So it's huge and dear to my heart. I have the mask. I had my hair already done because I only get an 8:30 appointment, and I had this like really cool hair, but my makeup wasn't done, and I still almost bailed out. Did my hair, my nails are done, and I almost bailed out. I'm like, you know what? I actually had to give myself a pep talk. I'm not tired. I can go. And so I ended up putting on my dress, getting ready. I stopped by a girlfriend's house because my earring like broke, and she totally hooked me up with these amazing earrings and made me feel like Cinderella. And I went off and I danced so much, and I can't believe I almost did not go just because I was defeating myself. I put that wall up myself because I had so much going on, and I was going to use that excuse, which was a really good excuse to my friends. We had 3 tables there at the gala, which was amazing. We raised a lot of money for this charity, but I had that out. I had that, oh, I'm sorry, my mother just went through this with a hurricane. She was in Fort Myers Beach. So I had that. I have prom. I have all this stuff going on. Everybody would have understood.
Yeah.
And I had that there. I had that wall, and I sat there, no joke, 10 minutes going, I can use it. Next, surprised I didn't have COVID. I'm telling you, like that was the next thing. Like I could have used that.
Always call me in those situations.
That wall was up.
It will get you
and
to go.
In circumstances when you're going through such a hard time in life with these holiday parties coming up, don't let that wall get in your way. Just go out, put on those shoes. Always bring flats. That hurt. Just telling you. A lot of us ended up barefoot. And just dance. Just remember, dance.
Dance it out.
Don't let that barrier get in front of your face, and don't make excuses, because I had that for 10 minutes. My hair was done. Awesome nails were done, the whole thing. And I still had a 10-minute, I can use this excuse. And it's all
It's
And,
real.
and I'm sure you felt better afterwards, and you were happy you went. And
Oh, I had the best time.
and sometimes it's just the fun that you need. It's the confidence booster. Sometimes it's a business connection. Sometimes it's a personal connection. But always, my motto is always dress up and get out. And you can never be overdressed. And try to network with anybody you can. Don't be afraid to go somewhere where you don't know anybody, because that's usually where you're going to end up meeting people that could impact your life, whether personally or professionally. Mm-hmm. And again, a reminder to not drink and drive, please. So hopefully everybody's motivated now to get out to your holiday parties and try not to make any indiscretions, and have a good time and use it for the positives that are available there. Thank you all, and hope you have a great week.
Yeah, and next podcast, got to talk about parent time.
All right,
All right.
We'll do that. We'll talk about holiday parenting time. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.